Now we're going to look at creating loops using ActionScript 3.0. Let's go to the first keyframe of the Actions layer and open up the Actions panel. There are a few different types of loops in ActionScript, and you can find out about all of them using Flash Help, but the most common one you're going to use is a for loop. To create a for loop, type for and some parentheses and some curly braces, and the code inside the curly braces is what's going to be repeated based on what you type in the parentheses. So in the parentheses, we're going to create a variable called I. This is going to be our loop's iterator. So var space I. And the data type is typically going to be a positive integer. So uint, it's all lowercase. And by using this data type, when I'm going to use only positive whole numbers, I'm optimizing my application. So I'm going to set that equal to 0. I'll type a semicolon. So that's the first part of the loop, is you declare your iterator. You don't actually have to create it in this part. I could just put I if I already had a variable called I. And I could also set it equal to 0 in here if I wanted to. So I have that. And then we declare how long the loop's going to run for, how many times the loop's going to run. It's going to run until this condition is false. So as long as I is less than 10. So that's the second part. Type a semicolon and then a space. And then we define what's going to happen if the code inside of the loop executes and this condition is not true. That condition being I is less than 10. We're going to increment I by 1, so type I++, and then we'll write the code in the loop. So I'm just going to do a trace statement. Trace, some parentheses and a semicolon, and I'm going to trace the value of I. So I'm going to test the movie, Command Enter on the Mac, Control Enter on the PC, and in the output window I have 0 through 9. So if I close the Actions panel, you can see that a little bit better. I'll scroll through the output window. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nice. Return to my Actions panel. And really that's all there is to it. You can create a for loop like this. There's also a while loop, and there's a do while loop. For more information about the while and do while loops, you can look them up in Flash Help. But to create a for loop, use the word for, and in the parentheses, you need to declare 3 things separated by semicolons. First, the iterator, which in this case is I. It's a positive integer equal to 0. Second is the condition of the loop. As long as I is less than 10, the loop will run. And third, what happens if the condition is not met once the block of code runs. And what we're going to do here is increment I by 1. So this is the typical loop. Really, the only thing that usually changes is the number 10 here. And that just changes the number of times that the loop will run. You put all the looping code inside of curly braces. And here we're just tracing the value of I.